They threw dirt on your name. But Spirit Warrior, guess who's still shining? You. Why does your light make people so uncomfortable they'd rather try to dim it than deal with their own shadows? There was once a woman who lived in complete silence for years. Everyone around her whispered, mocked her, plotted her downfall. She lost everything: her job, her relationship, her peace. But what they didn't know was that she wasn't being punished, she was being preserved. While they schemed, she healed. While they gossiped, she grew. And when her time came, she rose. And those same people, they couldn't even look her in the eye. Because when you try to ruin what God has anointed, you're not attacking flesh. You're fighting divine favor, and you always lose. People pressed over your existence are simply confessing their own insecurities. Their attempt to bury you was really an attempt to avoid themselves. So why do so many people come for the chosen? Why does your elevation make others spiral? What really happens to the ones who try to destroy you? Stay with me, Spirit Warrior, because by the end of this video, you'll understand something that will flip the whole narrative. You didn't just survive what they threw at you, you transformed through it. And trust me, the ones who tried to ruin you, they've already started ruining themselves, slowly, spiritually, undeniably. As the great Maya Angelou once said, "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like dust, I'll rise." This video isn't about revenge. It's about revelation. It's about walking in your power and understanding the spiritual laws that protect the chosen. Watch this video till the end, Spirit Warrior, because if you've ever been lied on, betrayed, excluded, or underestimated, you're about to see how all of that was never a loss. It was a setup for your comeback, and most importantly, to help you stay awake on your spiritual journey. Because the more you rise, the more pressed they'll get, and the more pressed they get, the more proof that you're walking in your purpose. Let's get into the 7 deep truths that prove they tried to ruin you, but they only ruined themselves. Point 1. God hid you in plain sight. Angels, let's really talk about it. Sometimes God lets you walk through the fire, not to hurt you, but to protect you in a way that looks strange to the untrained eye. See the fire they sent your way? It wasn't for your destruction, it was a divine setup. While your enemies were scheming, laughing, and convinced they had you cornered, God was doing what he always does best, working behind the scenes. They thought you were weak, lost, or broken. But in truth, you were hidden. Hidden not in fear, but in favor. You were tucked safely in the secret place of the Most High, as Psalm 91. 1 reminds us, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." What does that mean exactly? That secret place isn't just a location. It's a state of spiritual covering. It's a divine camouflage where you can't be touched unless God allows it. It's where God shields you, sharpens you, and shapes you. While they mocked your silence, your stillness, your disappearance, you were actually being refined, purified like gold in the fire. And here's the truth. Real transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the quiet. It happens when no one is watching, and you're just being held by God in that sacred cocoon of becoming. And when you emerged, oh, how the tables turned. You didn't just survive, you came out elevated, wiser, stronger, unrecognizable to those who tried to sabotage you. That's why they were shook, because the version of you they tried to destroy doesn't even exist anymore. God didn't just restore you, he upgraded you. But here's the most powerful part. Their failure wasn't just in not breaking you, it was in revealing themselves. They exposed their envy, their intentions, and most importantly, their spiritual blindness. They couldn't discern who you were in God, and because of that, they stumbled over the very trap they laid for you. So don't waste time being bitter, be better. Let them sit in the ashes of their regret while you keep rising in divine purpose. Because when you're hidden in God, no fire formed against you can prosper. It only burns away what you no longer need. Point 2. They pushed you into purpose. Funny thing about betrayal, it builds beast mode in chosen ones. You see, betrayal has a strange way of flipping the script. What was meant to destroy you actually woke something fierce inside you. Every insult you endured didn't just bounce off, it forged armor. Every time someone lied on you, dismissed you, or walked away like you didn't matter, something divine was happening. While they were laughing behind your back, you were being launched forward by invisible hands, God's hands. Rejection? That wasn't the end. It was redirection. That no you cried about at night, it was heaven's not yet. Because had you gotten what you wanted, when you wanted, you might have missed out on the deeper purpose. See, rejection brings clarity. It forces you to realign with Source, to reevaluate your worth, and to realize that not everyone's voice deserves access to your spirit. And when the betrayal hit hardest, you didn't collapse, you prayed. And not just soft bedtime prayers, no. We're talking about tear-soaked, warrior-level, God, if you don't show up, I'm not going to make it prayers. You dug deeper into your soul, leaned into your faith, and began to rise. Not because things got easier, but because God lit a fire in you that no enemy could extinguish. The attacks you faced weren't random, they were alarms. Spiritually, emotionally, even mentally, they jolted you awake. You were too comfortable, too trusting, too loyal to people who weren't loyal to you. But the betrayal? It exposed the snakes, revealed the plot, and activated the prophecy over your life. They thought they were tearing you down, but in God's blueprint, they were unintentionally building the platform for your next chapter. So let this truth settle in your spirit. Your enemies are just confused assistants to your destiny. They played their part. Their betrayal was just a scene in your rise. And yes, they'll feel the weight of what they lost when they see the favor on your life. But don't gloat. Don't get bitter. Get better, because the best clapback isn't revenge. It's evolution. It's when you walk in your calling, with peace in your soul, power in your stride, and heaven backing every step. Now walk like prophecy is unfolding, because it is. And let the confused assistants watch you rise. Point 3. Their energy boomeranged. Let's talk real spiritual laws for a second. Not just the ones you hear in feel-good memes, but the ones etched into the fabric of the universe. Chief among them is the law of cause and effect, or what many spiritual teachers call, you reap what you sow. In energetic terms, what you put out absolutely comes back. Every thought, every intention, every action, whether good or wicked, is a boomerang waiting to return to its sender. And when someone hurls spiritual darts at a chosen one, those darts don't vanish into the ether. Oh no. They take the scenic route, only to land right back at the feet of the one who launched them. See, the universe doesn't lose receipts. When someone tries to sabotage a chosen one, through envy, manipulation, gossip, or dark intentions, they're not just being petty, they're invoking a spiritual law they're not prepared to face. That anxiety they hoped you'd crumble under? They're wide awake with it now at 3 a.m., heart racing. That rejection and isolation they wanted for you? They're the ones scrolling through their contacts, wondering why no one answers. That failure they plotted for you? They're now drowning in plans that collapse before they even begin. Why? Because you are divinely protected. A hedge has been placed around you, unseen by the naked eye but undeniable in power. When Scripture says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper," Isaiah 54:17, it's not just poetic, it's a spiritual reality. The weapon may form, it might look like slander, betrayal, or false accusations, but it hits a spiritual force field that bounces it right back. And often it returns with interest. Those who cursed you didn't realize they were sowing seeds into their own lives. That's the danger of messing with a chosen one. You're not just fighting flesh and blood, you're challenging divine authority. And God? He doesn't play about his own. Every attack on your spirit became a lesson for them, a mirror, a reflection of their own darkness. So don't get bitter, get better. Your elevation is the greatest rebuttal. Let them sit with the regret of misusing their energy while you rise in grace, in favor, in peace. What they meant for harm, God flipped into a platform. Let the law work, and just keep glowing. Point 4. You glowed up, spiritually and physically. Oh yes, let's really talk about that undeniable glow-up. The kind that doesn't come from makeup palettes or bank account flexes, but from soul-deep healing and elevation. There's something profoundly spiritual about pain turned power. When you've been through betrayal that should have broken you, heartbreak that should have silenced you, and setbacks that were supposed to bury you, and yet you're still standing? Oh, that's a glow no man can manufacture. That's divine. Let's be real. People saw you struggle. They watched, some secretly rooting for your fall, others boldly mocking your pain. But they weren't prepared for the comeback. They didn't expect you to rise from the ashes of what they helped burn down. That smile you wear now, that peace in your spirit, that joy in your eyes, it came at a price most wouldn't dare to pay. It's the result of prayers whispered through tears, silent battles fought on your knees, and healing that took longer than anyone knew. Your glow wasn't gifted, it was earned. And let's not pretend it's quiet. No, the glow-up is loud. It enters rooms before you speak. It's not just in your walk, it's in your energy. It's in how you no longer respond to chaos, how you protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is, and how you've made resilience your lifestyle. People are noticing, and not everyone is clapping. The haters, they're pressed, not just annoyed, but spiritually uncomfortable, because they threw shade and you turned it into fertilizer. They lied, and you used the silence to build. They mocked, and you molded. Every scheme they plotted became a staircase you climbed, and now they have to watch you glow from a distance. They're squinting, not because it's sunny outside, but because your light is blinding. They can't understand how everything they did to dim you made you shine brighter. But here's the twist. The glow-up isn't for revenge, it's a testimony. A reminder that elevation isn't about proving them wrong, it's about proving yourself right. You stayed true, you stayed kind, you stayed grounded. That's power, that's divine. So keep glowing, not for applause, but because it's who you've become. Let them choke on their regrets while you breathe in your purpose. Point 5. They lost access to the anointed. This one right here? Oh, it cuts deep. Because when people mishandle a chosen one, they're not just losing a friend, a lover, or a confidant, they're losing a divine portal, a spiritual access point. You weren't just a person in their life, you were a living conduit of light, favor, protection, and answered prayers. When they dismissed you, lied to you, betrayed your trust, or disrespected your spirit, they didn't just hurt you, they severed their own lifeline. And now they're in a drought, dry, spiritually famished. You were the one who prayed for them when they didn't even know you were doing it. You covered them in silence. You interceded. You were the one speaking life over their dreams when everyone else was speaking doubt. You were the calm in their chaos, the voice of wisdom, the reminder of God's grace. And now they're surrounded by distractions and deceit. They're left with counterfeit connections. People who mimic loyalty but lack depth. People who flatter but don't fight in prayer. People who want what they have but won't help them keep it. Chosen ones carry atmosphere-shifting energy. Wherever you go, you shift the environment. You bring clarity, you bring peace, you bring favor. And when people mishandle that, it's like throwing away the key to a vault of spiritual abundance. It's not just emotional loss, it's a spiritual vacuum. You were the oil, and now the lamp doesn't burn the same. They can light all the candles they want, but it won't carry the warmth of your presence. And best believe, spirit warrior, they feel it. Your absence is not quiet, it echoes. Like a cold draft in a room that used to be warm, like a hush after a song that once played on repeat in their heart. They can't unfeel your impact. The memory of your presence lingers like incense on sacred garments. That's not ego, it's spiritual fact. Because when God sends a chosen one into someone's life, it's not random, it's intentional. And when they mishandle that, it becomes a lesson, not just for you, but for them. But don't get bitter. Get better. Keep rising. Keep glowing. Because your light, it never dims, it just moves on. And in your absence, they're finally learning the true weight of your presence. Point 6. You triggered their demons. Chosen ones, let's dive deep into something spiritual, psychological, and oh so personal. You've probably noticed it. Not everyone claps when you walk in the room. In fact, some people frown, shift uncomfortably, or suddenly go cold. And here's why. You carry a frequency that disturbs unhealed spirits. It's not your fault, and it's definitely not in your head. There's something divine about your presence that acts like a mirror. Without you even trying, your light reflects their shadows. And instead of confronting their wounds, they try to wound you instead. You see, they weren't really mad at you. They were mad at what you represent. Your confidence? It highlights the parts of them still ruled by self-doubt. Your joy. It stings because it reminds them of the happiness they never gave themselves permission to feel. And your sense of purpose. That one really hits deep. It forces them to look at their own aimlessness, and rather than take action, they choose to criticize yours. This is where projection comes in. Psychologically speaking, projection is a defense mechanism where people displace their own unwanted feelings onto someone else. That's exactly what's happening when they accuse you of being too much, too confident, or too spiritual. What they're really saying is, you make me feel things I'm not ready to deal with. And instead of facing those feelings, they project them onto you like emotional graffiti. Here's the truth bomb. You didn't ruin the relationship. They revealed it was already rotting. Your light didn't break them. It simply revealed where they were already cracked. And while it hurts to lose people, what you're really losing is the illusion they once gave you. The illusion of loyalty, of friendship, of love. What remains is clarity. They exposed themselves by reacting to your growth with jealousy instead of joy, with judgment instead of encouragement. But don't dim your light to make others comfortable in their darkness. As Scripture says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, to rise above, to awaken others, even if that awakening comes with discomfort. So next time they act cold or cruel, don't take it personally. Remember, your presence activates their darkness, not because you're wrong, but because you're radiant. Keep shining, chosen one. Point 7. You're the testimony they can't deny. Now here's the cherry on top, the part of the story they never saw coming. You're not just surviving, you're the living proof of divine reversal. Yes, you, the one they whispered about, doubted, gossiped over, and tried to tear down, is now standing tall, elevated not by human hands, but by divine design. Those same enemies who once mocked you, plotted against you, or dismissed you as insignificant, they're sitting in silence now, mouths shut, hearts conflicted, because they're witnessing something they can't explain. Favor, and not the kind you can earn through status, money, or manipulation, but favor that comes from above. God flipped the script, and now you've become the headline they never wanted to read. You see, divine reversal is a powerful concept found throughout spiritual history. From Joseph rising from the pit to the palace, to David going from overlooked shepherd to anointed king, God has always specialized in promoting the rejected. When enemies come against a chosen one, they unknowingly enroll themselves in a lesson taught by God himself. You became their teacher without even speaking. Why? Because your growth outshined their gossip. Your peace confused their chaos. Your joy disrupted their drama. And here's the twist. Your story was never about them. It was never about proving them wrong or getting revenge. It was always about proving God right. He chose you, covered you, and cultivated you right in the middle of their traps. And now, you walk with boldness, not ego. You carry grace, not grudges, because you know, truly know, that no weapon formed against you ever had a chance, not even for a moment. You've been protected, positioned, and promoted. That's not luck, that's God. And that's the kind of story that no enemy can silence. Spirit warrior, never forget this. You are not ruined, you are revealed. Every person who tried to break you only confirmed your power. Their downfall wasn't your doing, it was their decision. And now you rise, with peace, with purpose, with power. Stay awake, keep glowing, and don't dim your light for anyone, because what God has for you, no one can ruin.